Oh, hi. Do you want to hear a life story? Good, because I'm telling you anyways. I call it Curiosity Killed an Ice Cube.
Well, it all began in any normal place. A white box. Or, as you humans like to call it, a freezer. I was in the solid phase, where my molecules, the things and everything, were jam-packed together and only moved a little bit. Also, my intermolecular space, the little space between the molecules was really little, making the molecules not really move a lot. When I was young and I was still a solid, I wanted to see the outside world. What was it like beyond the place where I've always called home? So I packed my bags to see the outside world, not knowing that soon my beautifully packed solid molecules in my solid form would turn into a liquid who has no definite shape but a definite volume, instead of my solid form that's a definite shape and a definite volume. The molecules would be spread out more, and the intermolecular space would be more. I waited for the giant animals, or humans as you call it, to open my icy domain, and I hopped out at the right time. So I set off, walking around the house. But what I didn't realize was that my ice staff and me was slowly but surely going to turn into a liquid. The molecules in ours were slowly separating, and their intermolecular distance, or space, was growing. Soon, I felt some sweat drops around me, and I soon realized that my icicle staff was becoming smaller and smaller and smaller. I came to a conclusion that my molecules in my staffs were separating, and it was going through something called melting. Melting. The process from a solid turning into a liquid. The molecules are getting more spread out, and the intermolecular distance is getting more and more. It soon melted, and it was like it could take a form of anything. Liquids have no shape, no definite shape, but a definite volumes, unlike a solid that has a definite shape and a definite volume. It soon turned into a puddle on the floor. I soon came to the conclusion that I was also melting. My molecules were getting separated, and my intermolecular distance, or space, was getting more and more. I was turning into a liquid. Wherever I walked, little puddles followed, and I looked down at my staff. It was a puddle already. By this time, I've already walked the length from the kitchen all the way to the door. I was a little smaller than usual, and I was melting. Probably I was melting from the heat outside, or the room temperature heat, actually. The heat and the energy was on to my cold surface and making me melt into a liquid. But I still wanted to see the outside world. This little trip or something was too small. I've already melted, but I actually want to see what is actually outside. So, I slipped through the crack in the door and walked out. Immediately, I was bombarded by the raging heat of the sun's energy. The UV rays were burning. I felt like the molecules and intermolecular space that were separating sped up, and I began to melt even more quickly and rapidly. I was melting quickly. I couldn't walk another step. But suddenly, I saw this big lump of fur in the distance. It had blazing eyes and razor-sharp teeth. I couldn't tell what it was, but I knew for sure that it was pure evil. It slowly began to get clearer, and it started to become wider and bigger. I could tell that it was about 100 or even 1,000 times bigger than me. Suddenly, it pounced on me, and I felt like all my molecules were just separated in half. I was broken up into different pieces. Before I knew it, I was in pieces, and now a puddle. My molecules were now spread out into a liquid. The intermolecular space was bigger. It seems like I was now a liquid. I take any shape now, and I have a definite volume, but no definite shape. So I was there in the hot sun, but after a while I felt like I was rising. It seems like I was turning into water vapor, or a gas, where my molecules are even more spread out and they slide past each other. The intermolecular distance was a lot more than in the solid. When the energy, or the sun, reflects down upon me, it's the energy and the heat that is applied to the liquid, that was me, it starts to rise. It's turning into steam or water vapor, turning me into a gas. The gas form of me is very different from the liquid form and the solid form. For example, the solid form, the molecules hardly even move. They move past each other. They don't move past each other, and they kind of move in place, but they move only a little bit. The intermolecular distance is very short. The liquids, however, are a little bit more spread out, and they slide past each other, but they never collide. The intermolecular distance is a little more than in the solid. In the gas phase, the intermolecular distance is a lot more larger, and the molecules are a lot more spread out. It seems like this is called evaporation. As a water vapor gas, I start to rise up into the atmosphere, soon reaching cloud level. I stick to one of the clouds, and we start to drift off around the air. I'm starting to like my new form, drifting around wherever the wind takes me in a cloud line. Sights and citations, the English Shutterstock, Flickr, and Conflight. As you can see there, that's the moral. Yeah, but cats make good pets.